Good morning, Javatarians. Today we're going to do a little more recursion with the strings rather than numbers. And I'm going to do Recursion 7, the file that you have in the demo code. I'll also make a video for Recursion 8. So if you look at the file, the Java code is copied down here. You should bring it up in BlueJ so that you can see the actual file. And the method called recur gets called with zebra. So we're going to go through what happens with the stack and with the functions as that method gets called. So the initial return statement calls recur with the substring from 0 to the length minus 1. So it's going to return the recur. So we go into the method recur. If length is greater than 0, we call the recur with a substring, everything but the last character. So we call recur with ZEBR. Okay. Plus the last character. Right? So EA is there. Right? And that's what the stack calls activation record 1. The first method call returns that. So it's going to return the recur statement, or the recur method, with everything but the last character. Okay. So what happens then? Well, recur gets called again with ZEBR. That's going to be the second activation record. So we go in, the length is greater than 0, so we call recur again with the substring of the substring. So this is going to return calling the recur method with the substring that takes off the last character, ZEB, okay, plus the last character. So the slide calls this split recursion or tail recursion. I guess you can see why. It's splitting the string into substrings. Tail recursion, because it's the recursion is happening with the tail, the last character. The recursion is happening at the tail of the string. Okay. So we call recur again, but with the string ZEB. So in the stack, activation record, okay, we're going to return calling recur, but with, again, the substring of just ZE. This substring call here takes off the last character, but it gets added on. And this keeps going as long as the length of the string is more than 0. So a length of 4, 3, 2. We call it again. So there is the base case. When we get down to a length of 0, we're done. So we get AR4. We call recur again, another activation record, but we're calling it with ZE. So now we're calling it with the substring with just Z plus the E. So one more time, it gets added to the stack. Calling it again. Okay. Now we are calling recur. So now we are calling recur one more time with just the character Z. The length is greater than 0. So I take the substring from 0, omitting the last character. So really I'm calling recur one more time but with a string of length 0. Right? That's the base case. So the fifth time it gets called, okay, I call recur one more time with nothing in it. So I call recur with a string of length 0. If this doesn't happen, all it does is return an empty string. So this just goes straight to returning an empty string. So recur with an empty string returns an empty string. So this gets replaced with an empty string. Z gets added onto it. This is what gets returned here. So now we have the character Z plus the character E. This is what gets returned here. Z, E. The character B gets added on. This is what gets returned here. Z, E, B. Okay. This gets added on. So as each one gets fulfilled, it gets removed. We return ZEB plus R to here. ZEBR. And the last thing that happens, we return ZEBR plus A. So the final thing that gets put into the print line is zebra. So seems anticlimactic, but what we did, we peeled away one character at a time using the substring, okay, put it back together with the char at. Okay. So what gets printed out is zebra. That is Recursion 7.java.